VeChain price predictions. There's many of them out there, and today we are going to be taking a look at a new approach to price predictions for VeChain, and specifically the VET token. There's a lot of speculation out there, but I'm going to hopefully try to break this down and give you the numbers that I think are interesting and you should probably do some research on. So as I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and check out the free Discord linked in the description below. Let's jump right down into today's video. What we're going to do is we're going to kick things off with price predictions, not for VeChain, but for BTC, because 𝗕𝗄𝗪 has some interesting perspectives on Bitcoin, right? He's obviously a big Bitcoin maxi, right? He's been accumulating BTC since 2020, and well, he's done pretty well out of it, right? Hodling ever since 2020. Now, what's really interesting is how he has these price predictions, right? He's spoken about, $100,000 Bitcoin, $500,000 Bitcoin, $1 million Bitcoin. But most recently, this article from 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗓 has got a quote from 𝗕𝗄𝗪 saying that he can see a future where Bitcoin goes to $13 million. Let's see if we can find the quote in here somewhere. So yeah, basically 13 million is the Bitcoin base case. Okay, now what's really interesting about that is that if Bitcoin goes to $13 million, well, the rest of the crypto market is going to balloon up with it. And that actually in itself lies some interesting analysis that can then be done on VeChain's VET token. Okay, so with this in mind, we're going to see that if Bitcoin can last the test of time and can rally up to $13 million, then other cryptocurrencies, as long as they last the test of time and survive and continue to evolve and see adoption in line with BTC, then they are going to also balloon up quite well as well. Okay, so we are looking at a very interesting time here in crypto. We're super early, right? We've been around for a while in the industry, but it's still super early. There's not that many people actually in crypto, investing in cryptocurrency-based projects. And, Bitcoin spot ETFs have definitely put it on a bit of a pedestal, along with the Ethereum ETFs, and there's going to be many other ETFs in the future as well. Grayscale are leading a bit of an innovative kind of way of approaching this. We've seen them rolling into Bitcoin ahead of ETFs, rolling out of the Bitcoin ETFs into Ethereum ahead of an Ethereum ETF, and now they roll out of Ethereum into other. And so you can see there's a cycle to this stuff, right? And they have some interesting things that they're working on as well, which is always great insight if you haven't done so already. But as I say, a lot of this information is already in our free Discord linked in the description below. So let's go ahead and take a look at some scenarios. So if Bitcoin goes to $13 million, right, that means that the market cap of Bitcoin would go up to $256 trillion. This is a 232.7x from its current position today. Now, a lot of people might say, well, that's just crazy. There's not that much money. You can't possibly see that kind of ballooning up. And I want to kind of stress what market cap is and what market cap is not. Market cap does not represent value. It does not represent liquidity, and it doesn't show you the amount of money that's, gone into a project or anything like that. Okay, all it shows you is the idea, the theoretical idea of value. This is fundamentally different than stock market. It's very important that we understand that. With a stock market, you have a real company. Let's take Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, for example. They actually have real units on the ground, and you can make your kind of investment decisions based on the performance of the company and that they're doing within the real world, whether they have sales increasing, sales decreasing, and all those kind of things. And of course, the stock market, just like the crypto market, is heavily speculative, and people gambling essentially whether things are going to go up or go down. And it's just on a much, much, much bigger scale than what crypto is, and that's because of how early we are now. $13 million BTC, we can argue that's probable, not probable. 𝗕𝗄𝗪𝗓's point on this is that it is something that will happen in the future. It's kind of like an inevitability. It will happen at some point. And this is because obviously the actual foundation of Bitcoin, what it's doing ultimately over time. We can see that there's definitely some interesting use cases with Bitcoin, transfer of value, store of value, all that kind of stuff. But we can also see that over time, when Bitcoin was at, just a few pennies, a couple of dollars, $20, $30 to $100, $200. People believe that, it didn't really have that kind of test of time and that it ultimately would fail at some point in the future. Now, of course, things are vastly different. We've ballooned up to new all-time highs over $70,000. And, we've got institutional players like MicroStrategy, like, Michael Saylor here, basically looking to accumulate as much as possible. We now have ETFs. Institutional investors can buy Bitcoin without actually getting involved in the crypto side of it. And it's just very big fundamental changes that have happened over the last couple of years or so when it comes to BTC. So $13 million, I do kind of agree, as long as Bitcoin can survive the test of time. I do have concerns over proof of work in the sense that, it's problematic in the sense that if energy costs continue to rise the way that they are, it becomes unprofitable for small mining operations. So Bitcoin's price either has to go up in order for the blockchain to survive, as in those mining operations have to be profitable. So Bitcoin's price just simply has to go up, right? But that's not really how things work. You have a lot of various different things going on here, right? You've got the actual value of BTC ascertained by the market participants, right, through supply-demand metrics. And then, of course, you've got confirming transactions on a blockchain, which is the proof of work element. Those two are not necessarily linked together. So as long as we can see, an increase in demand and a decrease in supply, well, it's capped, so we know that the more demand is, the less there's going to be in supply-wise, then the price is going to go up, right? And so I think we have years to worry about, years of kind of enjoying the price of Bitcoin kind of doing pretty phenomenal things. And whether or not those supply demand metrics shift enough to drive us to $13 million is kind of unseen for now. But if it does, then of course it will test the time, will be demonstrating the test of time essentially, and we will see some pretty phenomenal numbers. Now let's roll this all the way back to Vechain, right? So we know Bitcoin has this kind of idea that maybe 10-20 years down the line it's going to reach $13 million in value, as attained by the market participants. What does that mean for Vechain? Well, before we get there, let's talk about Ethereum, right? Because Ethereum is obviously the second biggest by market cap, currently $287 billion, right? This represents about 26% of the market cap of BTC, which means that if we see Ethereum ballooning up in the same way that we see Bitcoin ballooning up, then we are going to end up with a market cap. Let me go ahead and grab hold of this. Sorry, not a market cap of $66 trillion, $66.8 trillion, and a price prediction for Ethereum to reach $555,000. Again, another 232.7x position. Okay, so if Vechain balloons up the same way that Bitcoin and Ethereum did, will potentially do in the future, then what is that price? What is that market cap? So the market cap for Vechain would be $426 billion. Now, to some people, they might think, wow, that's actually, really like ballooned up massively. Bearing in mind, that's double, actually a little bit less than double the market cap of Ethereum today, right? So it would balloon up pretty massively. And the price of the Vechain VET token on this scenario would be $5.27. Okay, so we would see a pretty significant run on Vechain over the years. But of course, there's many caveats to this. Obviously, Bitcoin can potentially survive the test of time, provided that the price of Bitcoin continues to soar. We have Ethereum, again, with continued adoption, continued use cases, and basically people continuing to buy Ethereum. We might see that surge as well. But there is a caveat to Ethereum, in the way that the supply is not capped. More Ethereum can be created. So we'd want to be aware that the supply of Ethereum will change, and therefore that price prediction would also change to a degree. And we, of course, have the circulating supply of Vechain being 80 billion tokens, or 80.9, and if that kind of stays static, which it won't, but if it does, then we'd be driving out a $5.27 in that scenario. So as you can see here, that the crypto space generally balloons up together. People always look for value wherever they can find it, and I think the price action that we've seen recently for Vechain, we do see value add propositions there. But in terms of our long-term visions, Vechain's doing some pretty fundamental things in the real world. world. It's got great real world utility. And if they continue to do the things that they're doing, and they continue to drive more adoption, and they continue to add new developments and bring in new kind of projects and new use cases to the chain, we might see VeChain, testing that time and basically seeing, some pretty decent kind of price predictions and price fluctuations over the next kind of 10 years or so. But guys, you can let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Where do you sit with Bitcoin's long-term price prediction? And if you think Bitcoin can go up to $13 million, then at the same breath, you kind of also feel that as long as VeChain survives, it will also be above $5 in that long-term picture. So let me know what your thoughts are on all of that in the comments below. If you found today's video useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and check out my other technical analysis channel just here. We do a lot more TA over there.